Some people aren't just unique or one in a million. They are the kind that make you question if they're even real. Born with conditions that defy logic, they push limits, rewrite expectations, and show the world what resilience actually looks like. Today's video is about these incredible people who refuse to be defined or let down by their differences and embrace who they truly are. Let's start this countdown with Number 15. Victoria Salcedo. Victoria was only 5 when she grabbed a metal rod and touched a power line while playing on her rooftop in Ecuador. The shock tore through her body. Doctors had to amputate both arms and her left leg to save her life. She doesn't remember the moment, just the years that followed. At first, she tried prosthetics, but they felt heavy, unnatural. She got rid of them. Her remaining leg became everything. She learned how to write, style her hair, cook, swim, and even dive underwater with her foot. Now in her 20s, Victoria studies journalism, speaks at events, and reaches millions with her videos. Her focus isn't on what's missing, it's on what's stayed. She doesn't like pity, doesn't use big metaphors. Her message is simple. The mind adjusts first, and the body follows. If you don't believe you can move forward, you won't. She calls her leg her magic limb. But what's really magic is how little she lets anything stop her. Number 14. Nihal Bitla. People noticed Nihal because of how he looked, but they remembered him because of how he moved through the world. Progeria aged his body 8 times faster than normal. By his early teens, his joints were stiff, his skin deeply wrinkled, and his bones fragile. But his spirit never matched the clock. He loved science, movies, and had a soft spot for Amir Khan, the Bollywood actor he later got to meet. He didn't hide from cameras or crowds. Instead, he led one of India's first awareness campaigns for progeria, trying to help other kids find treatment, or at least a connection. His dream was to reach Boston for a clinical trial. Before he could, he passed away at 15 after attending a wedding in southern India. His family said it happened fast. Heat, dehydration, maybe a heart that just couldn't go further. But for years, Nihal gave his time and energy to strangers. And now, even in his absence, his story still walks ahead of him. Number 13. Drew Presta. Well, Drew didn't move to Los Angeles to fit in. She moved there to finally stop shrinking. She'd spent years being stared at, talked over, and bullied back home in Reno. People couldn't get past her height, and she never forgot the names they called her. But in LA, surrounded by differences, she started over. While studying fashion marketing, she picked up modeling, and something clicked. Her confidence didn't show up overnight. She had to fight for it, day by day. Learn to love her curves, figure out how to pose for cameras, and hear herself say out loud, "I'm sexy like this." She's 3 feet and 4 inches, but that's just a measurement. She's also bold, funny, and stubborn in the best way. Online, she still deals with hate, but she also gets messages from people who say they finally feel seen. Drew isn't asking to be called brave or different. She just wants respect and love. Because all she's ever done is show up fully, exactly as she is. Number 12. Angel and Mateo. Angel is a plastic surgeon. Mateo wasn't planning to get anything done until they fell in love. She saw potential, joked about upgrades, and then it just started. Botox, fillers, and a nose job. Then came matching Brazilian butt lifts. "We'd look so cute walking around Miami like that," Angel said. "They get stares constantly. People online don't hold back. Mateo called names just to date her. Angel gets called fake, attention-seeking, and superficial. They don't care. Their life runs on glitter, procedures, and thick skin. They do spicy content together. They share outfits, share surgery plans, and keep each other close. Mateo says he never thought he'd be this into aesthetics, but now he feels confident in a way he never knew. Angel shrugs off the hate. I've always looked like this. It's not new people say they won't last. Mateo just laughs. Girl, if you're mad, go get surgery. Whatever people think, they call it love. Well, even if it's filled with silicone. Number 11, Callie and Carter Torres. Well, nobody, even their parents, expected Callie and Carter to make it past a single day. Conjoined twins, joined at the pelvis, with just one leg each and every organ below the belly button shared. The chances of survival were almost nothing, but they did survive. Then they started growing. Their parents, Chelsea and Nick, decided early on that they wouldn't leave things to fate. They homeschool, they guide physical therapy, they build routines around balance, coordination, and connection. At 3, Callie and Carter were still learning to stand together. Each step is awkward, shaky, but theirs. They laugh, argue, and wobble through it like any siblings might. The separation surgery never came. It wasn't safe. So they adapt, and they keep going. 5 years have passed since their story first spread. Not much is known today, but what they proved early on still stands. Sometimes survival isn't just about odds. It's about 2 small humans refusing to let go of each other, and parents who never gave up. Number 10. Santlal Pal. In 2018, Santlal walked into a hospital in Mumbai carrying one of the largest tumors doctors had ever seen. It had grown from his scalp, spreading across his skull like a second head, pressing into his brain, and leaving him nearly blind. Santlal, a cloth vendor from Uttar Pradesh, had lived with the swelling for years. Local hospitals said it was too risky. So he traveled hundreds of kilometers to BYL Nair Hospital, hoping someone would try. Neurosurgeon Dr. Trimurti Nadkarni took the case. The tumor had grown deep through the skull and into the brain cavity. Removing it meant risking everything, but waiting meant death. After hours of surgery, the tumor, over 4 pounds, was gone. It wasn't cancerous, and doctors say his vision may partially return. Santlal now walks again, his head scarred but his life intact. He came in carrying something nobody else would touch. He left with a second chance, thanks to a team that refused to say no. Number 9. Chingrung Moreau. There wasn't much her family could do. Chingrung was born in a remote village in Bangladesh with a tumor that slowly spread across her face. By the time she turned 11 months old, it had covered half of it, blocking vision, pressing into her brain, and growing fast. Surgery was impossible. The cost alone was out of reach. But a social worker named Fabian Gomez took a photo and posted it online. That post changed everything. The image spread, and soon the story reached Dhaka. Government officials got involved. Obaidul Quadr, a top-ranking minister, arranged treatment at Dhaka Medical College. Donations came in. Doctors began evaluating her case. There was no guarantee of a cure, but there was hope. Today, no one knows for sure how she's doing. It's been years since that first campaign. But back then, one post gave a little girl a chance she didn't have before. And for her family, that was more than they ever thought possible. Number 8. Jasmine Bean. Jasmine lives in London and doesn't try to look normal. They're a gender, go by they, and built their entire identity around not fitting in. Jasmine grew up obsessed with horror films and leaned into it. Whiteout contacts, doll makeup, handmade costumes, and blood details. People stare, but that's the point. They wear a binder and call themselves a genderless monster, not as a costume, but a comfort. If people feel unsettled, they've said, then I'm in control of how they see me. It's never about trying to look cute. It's about honesty. On quiet days, they tone it down. But the person behind the look never changes. Online, they're followed by thousands. Some love it, others attack. Doesn't matter. Yasmin's starting a makeup line for people who never felt safe being regular. Their version of beauty has fangs, glitter, scars, and sharp eyeliner. It's not meant to be liked by everyone. That's kind of the point. They're not dressing up, they're just showing up. Number 7. Ariasha and Dwayne. When Ariasha was 5, she was learning how to navigate a world that didn't always understand her face, and she wasn't doing it alone. Her dad, Dwayne, shared the same rare craniofacial condition, Treacher-Collins syndrome. It affects the development of facial bones and tissue, and for both of them, that meant hearing loss, underdeveloped cheekbones, and in Dwayne's case, no external ears. They wore hearing aids, communicated with patients, and leaned on each other through the stares and questions. Her mother, Becky, wrote a children's book inspired by their daughter called Asha's Little Ears, a way to help families explain the condition and soften the fear that can come with a difficult diagnosis. She also designed custom headbands to help children wear bone-anchored hearing aids comfortably. That was 5 years ago. Today, there aren't many updates, but their story still holds. A girl and her father walking side by side, making space for others to feel less alone in their difference. It's just amazingly beautiful. Number 6. Destiny. Destiny used to hide her arm every day. Long sleeves, even in summer. She wanted to disappear before anyone had the chance to say something cruel. Kids made fun of her all the time. She got used to it. Quiet, angry, shrinking. Then in 2020, she got on TikTok, and something flipped. She didn't ask for pity or explain her difference. She made jokes, spoke bluntly, laughed like she wasn't waiting for approval, and people got it. Comments flooded in from people who felt the same. Not just inspired, seen. Destiny didn't preach or try to be an example. She just stopped hiding. And other people started standing up too. She has over 1 million followers now, doesn't hide her identity, doesn't explain her dates, doesn't shrink anymore. Her story isn't about teaching anyone a lesson. It's about showing up the way she always could have, if the world had let her. Now she doesn't wait for permission, and she never will again. Number 5. Sapphire Saint. Sapphire Saint didn't want to blend in. She wanted to stand out in a way no one could ignore. Over the years, she spent more than $150,000 transforming herself into a living Bratz doll. Her journey includes 7 breast augmentations, full facial reconstruction, lip lifts, fangs, and multiple rib removals. After U.S. doctors refused further surgeries, she began traveling to Turkey to continue the work. Sapphire doesn't pretend her look is for everyone. She proudly calls herself a professional bimbo and says every surgery helped shape not just her body, but her identity. She doesn't aim for subtlety. For her, it's about building something extreme, unapologetic, and entirely her own. Critics don't faze her. She's heard it all. Painful recoveries, infections, dislocated ribs. It's all part of the process. She's not chasing beauty. She's crafting a character she fully owns. To her, appearance isn't just about aesthetics. It's confidence. It's branding. It's control. And for that, she says, it's all been worth it. What do you think about her? Number 4. Stefan Zollake. For years, Stefan carried a 13-pound tumor across his face. It wasn't cancer, but it dominated his life, distorting his jaw, straining his neck, pressing against nerves and muscles until breathing, eating, even sleeping became difficult. The condition, called Madelung disease, is rare and poorly understood. Most people assumed he'd never find relief. But in 2022, after years of waiting, a Slovakian surgical team finally removed it. The operation took 5 hours. When Stefan saw his face without the growth, he said it was like seeing the sun again after years of fog. The recovery wasn't easy, but it gave him back the one thing he thought he'd lost forever: his reflection. Madelung doesn't always have a clear cause, and Stefan's case wasn't tied to family or lifestyle. It just happened. But now, after everything, he walks down the street without hiding. People still stare, but this time, it's curiosity, not shock. And for Stefan, that makes all the difference. Number 3. Indigo and Ali. In the legendary Tokyo, Indigo and Ali live inside a world they built. Bright pink walls, furniture, appliances, even consoles. Ali started dressing in pink back in 2016, blending kawaii bimbo style with early 2000s flair. Indigo was the opposite back then: black hair, heavy metal, dark eyeliner. But that changed after she discovered Bimbo Core and saw Ali online. She reached out. They've been together nearly 3 years. Their apartment looks like a dollhouse, and they've probably spent over $100,000 on pink. They share outfits, compete over who's pinker, and don't gatekeep anything. "We're like shiny Pokemon," Ali jokes. Even strangers call them gorgeous. Both are musicians and content creators, but their real project is just being themselves. People online call it ridiculous. They call it freedom. "Pink changed everything," Indigo says. "We're not done." They've heard every insult already: plastic, fake, delusional. But it doesn't matter. They like their life the way it is: unfiltered, oversized, and unapologetically pink. Number 2. Milk Mill. Milk Mill isn't pretending to be a dog. She's embracing something deeper. As a streamer and content creator, she identifies as a Pomeranian, drawn not to imitation, but to the emotional traits: playfulness, loyalty, and expressive energy. Her daily wardrobe includes pastel leashes, collars, and furry ears, not as a costume, but as part of who she is. She discovered the puppy play community through YouTube and found a sense of belonging she hadn't felt before. Her father assumed it was cosplay at first, but over time came to accept her identity, even if he doesn't fully understand it. Milk also has a handler, a close friend who offers emotional grounding, not romance, through a relationship structured around trust and care. Online comments range from mocking to cruel, but she's used to that. She's always dressed differently, always stood out. Her goal now? Build a collection of pastel tails and eventually get permanent fangs. She's not playing pretend, she's living honestly. And while it may seem weird, she loves it. Number 1. Trans Dad. Danny Wakefield gave birth to their child Wilder during the early days of the pandemic. Well, it wasn't planned or expected. They were recovering from COVID when a test confirmed the pregnancy. Danny had already started medical transition years before: hormone therapy, top surgery, the whole path. But they still had the ability to carry a child, and when the choice came, they decided to do it themselves. Danny doesn't see parenting as a gendered act. It's about being there, fully, every single day. They raised Wilder with the same care they used to rebuild their identity, and now share their life with over 1 million followers under the name Danny the Trans Dad. Along the way, they've dealt with pushback from hospital staff, strangers online, and people who couldn't accept that a pregnant person might not identify as a woman. But Danny never needed approval. They chose parenthood for the right reasons, and they're raising their child in a home built on honesty, not rules. If you've enjoyed this video, Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for hanging with us, and we'll see you soon in the next one.